Hello, this is Daniel Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide, and in the latest PTE release, they included at least the temporary version of the IAE Expo Hall. And so I'm going to walk around this and make some inferences from what I see. Now, this I am doing mostly extemporaneously just to get it out there quickly, so it won't be quite as polished. But as you see, it is occurring at Vision Center in Orison. And one of the things you'll notice is the posters, they have a very different color scheme. And this, I think, is going to be what we're going to be seeing on the color scheme of the Best in Show paints, because very often the two of them have the same color scheme. It was when it was purple, it was when it was blue, it was when it was pink. Now here you see the schedule for the day, each of the days and each of the vendors. Now, usually the big ticket item of the IAE is on the first day. So we have RSI, that may be the Polaris, that may, not the Polaris, the Perseus, or it may be the Hermes, or maybe both of them. If there isn't a LTI token ship from RSI, there will usually be an LTI token ship announced the day or two before the start of the IAE. CIG always puts a inexpensive new ship with LTI just before the start of the show as a way of juicing sales, particularly upgrade sales of the ships during the rest of the show. And then in general, there are new ships every other manufacturer after that. And that fits pretty well with the scheme of the things that have been found by data miners. As we see the two vendor areas here for merch, that looks like normal. Again, the color scheme is very unique compared to last year, and I do believe that will be reflected in the Best in Show paints. Here we see that schedule again. You can mark your calendars, and there's only one show floor, not two, so it looks as though we're going to be doing like with the Invictus, just have one show floor and then have that stay the same, but only have the ship rentals be based on the schedule. I kind of do not like this that much. I liked the fact under the old formats, you could really see all the things that are available to you on the show floor, rather than having to rent them and then have to go to your own hangar and see them. It made most of the days of the show rather boring because there was nothing really new to see. Now here you see all of those terminals, which just like an Invictus. Now normally right here, there would be the show floor maps, but and I believe there still will because the floor markings are there, they just haven't put them in yet. So those we just saw were the ship rental terminals, and right here at the start we see a patch of dirt. So obviously this is going to be some sort of new ground vehicle. There's data miners have found something called an NTC. So I suspect that's what we're going to see right here, and it will probably be the LTI token of this year's Invictus. If I come over here to Kruger, I see the L21 Wolf, but it is asymmetrical on its pad. So that again indicates that the Wolf Alpha is going to be a real thing, and that it's going to be roughly the same size as the Wolf, maybe even a little bit smaller, because it looks like it is intended to fit on the other half of this pad. I wouldn't be surprised if the L21 Wolf isn't actually a smaller stub version based on the amount of floor space it's been allocated to it. We have over here the Meteor, which has been another recently announced RSI ship. A very large part of the floor space here is being given over to RSI ships, as we have both the Meteor and this big platform, confirming here that it is the medium. And we have this very large, but not quite large enough, platform at the back of the hall. So I've had seen people suppose that this is going to be where the Perseus is going to be displayed, and this is simply too small of a space for the Perseus. If the Perseus was going to be in the main hall, it would be take up at least half the floor space. This is a much too small of a space for the Perseus, but it isn't too big of a space for the Hermes. Then the Hermes, if you haven't been watching the leaks channels, is the ship that's built on the same platform as the Apollo, that is some sort of variant of the Apollo. And that space that they've given here for it is about that size. Here we have an Argo Raft. The Argo Raft got a lot of new respect during the cargo race because it was a great ship for that. And a lot of people were renting them, so I can see why they put that on the show floor. Come over to the opposite side from where this big but not too big RSI ship is, and we see that they're putting in a prospector. Again, they want to try to keep a little bit of a civilian thrust to the IAE, and so I believe the Raft and the prospector were put in. The Fortune were put in here in order to not to make this look like another military-focused show, because with the Perseus expected to dominate a lot of the attention. So does this mean that we're not going to see the Perseus at this show? Yes, we will. No, it will mean that we'll be seeing it in someplace else. Just like with the Idris, they had someplace else to show off it. There's probably going to be someplace else that we're going to be using to show off the Perseus, if it is going to be shown at all. There's some very large lawn areas outside of the Crusader showroom. They could park the Perseus there, and everyone can go there and see it. So it would not be an unusual situation, because it would very much parallel what would be going on with the Idris at the ILW this year. So we're going to go to the first of the side halls, and this is the alien-focused side hall. There's the Stinger. I haven't had a chance yet to try out the Stinger, so that's going to be one of my goals personally for this week, is going to be to get some stick time in the Stinger here. Very attractive ship, but rather large actually compared to other medium heavy fighters. Here is the Prowler Cargo, the Prowler Utility. I haven't had a lot of chance to try that out. I think I will also do that this show. Here we have the Sulin, one of the interesting but not exceptionally practical starter ships. The one alien starter ship, though. And then we have a lot of floor space giving to this holopad. And so you have to think, well, what alien ship is still in development that they would want to focus? And the only one that comes to mind is the Raelin. So it looks like they'll be having some emphasis on the Raelin, but not any sort of actual delivery for it, because it will only be shown in holograph. Way in the back of the hall, in less prominent spaces, we have the Banu Protector, a very popular alien two-seater ship. And then around to the other side, rounding out the alien hall, the Santok Yai. Also, you may have noticed in the front of the hall, I kind of zoomed by it, there is also a Talon. Here also is a Nox. So the alien hull does not look like it has any blank pads that would be holding anything truly new, with the exception of that holo deck. And since CIG has eschewed having concept sales, I don't think that holodeck is going to be containing any newly announced ship, because they're kind of held away from doing concepts only. To have things at or near ready to be delivered before they actually sell them. And that's a sensible choice, because they already have enough ships to sell us. They don't have to sell us them in concept form in order to have something that people will buy. And the concept sales were in large part hurting their credibility. The people chiding them for selling JPEGs like they were NFTs. So let's go to the other adjacent hall to the Alien Hall. And this is the Anvil and Aegis Hall. The predominant ship here is the recently deliverable Paladin. But there's no empty pads here, no indication that there is anything in this hall that's going to be a new ship in this release. But if you've never seen the Paladin up close, you have a chance to take a look at it. It's a great two-person assault ship and also a very good four-person escort ship. Definitely not very good on the maneuverability factors, but plenty of firepower and range of motion and range of visibility on the weapons. I played with it some, had very good results. It takes a bit of hammer. Looks like we got a little bit of glitching here, and it looks like the glitching is somehow related to that raft because of the orange color. There's nothing else here that is that orange color.
Many of the vehicles on display at this year's IAE are conveniently available to rent.
Now, one interesting possibility from the fact that this is being held at Orison is whether we might soon be seeing Siege of Orison in the game. They talked a lot about it at CitizenCon, the new instant Siege of Orison. And if you recall, the premise of the original Siege of Orison was that terrorists had taken over the venue of a side event of the IAE. So if they're keeping that premise, they might very well be ramping up to do a version of Siege of Orison in the shortly after the IAE, perhaps in a 4.4.1 release, perhaps. Now we're coming into the hall that is interesting because it is the Drake Hall, and we've had lots of rumors from the data miners about a new Drake ship. And in fact, we see two empty Drake platforms, not of the same size. So let's take a look at this one to the side, which is the smaller of the two. This is a very small pad. It might be the size that you might think of for a buggy-sized vehicle or a very small single-person fighter. I think you could fit a Buccaneer on this pad, but not much anything bigger than a Buccaneer. You might be able to fit a Corsair size, not a Corsair, cutter-sized vehicle on this pad, but nothing much very larger than that would fit on this pad. So I had the impression that what the data miners were mining for the what they were calling the Clipper was larger than that, but not much larger. So we get this other pad, and this pad also is smaller than I would have expected based on the size of what their tees of the they were terming the small Corsair, also known as the Clipper, would be here. But this one might fit a 2 or 3 passenger small cargo ship, one emphasizing speed, because that's sort of what the Clipper ships were. They were small, fast ships for delivering small cargoes, parcels, and information. I wouldn't quite think information because we already have a ship in that regard, and that is from Drake, and that is the Herald, a ship that has, one of the longest ships that have yet to really see its purpose in the game. It's kind of the poster boy of CIG's much criticized prior practice of introducing ships before the gameplay that went with the ship has ever been developed. The data running is in fact probably the next in my series of CIG's longest unmet promises. Here in the back of the line we have some Origin ships. We have the 400, and I think this one might be another clue as to the color scheme that they're going to be coming up with for the Best in Shows, because I have not seen this color scheme. I may be just simply I'm not familiar with every single color scheme on every single ship. This looks like it is the right colors: yellow, white, and a dark black, or nearly black, a very dark warm gray. Now, one of the interesting things I noticed here is that there is no underhaul. Usually the main hull has two long circular ramps that sweep around and go to an underhaul, where they have additional spaces for showing vehicles, armors, and where traditionally the holodecks were. And that is gone. So, in fact, the total IAE show is smaller than previous years, in addition to the fact that it appears that they are not going to be doing anything in terms of changing the display for the whole duration of the show. I know that means they've saved some work and can be used on other things, but I do miss that ability to see much more of what's going on. Now, here we have the Consolidated Outland and Crusader Hall. Again, I don't see any empty pads here, so this hall is unlikely to be providing us any surprises. We saw the Nomad, here we see the Intrepid, Crusader starter ship. So not too much interesting in that hall, or actually not too much new in that hall. And that pretty much covers the entire floor space. And it will be the same display through the entire IAE week. So unless they give us some other reasons, like an Easter egg hunt to come here, you'll probably just visit it once. Again, that patch of dirt near the entrance is interesting. The fact that the RSI empty pad is not big enough for the Polaris, I'm sorry, for the Perseus, but is big enough for a ship of this size. So the Hermes may be here. The fact that there's two hidden pads in the Drake area is curious. The hint of what the color scheme will be is interesting. And then the possibility that right after this IAE week, we're going to be seeing the introduction of the new Siege of Orison, because they picked Orison for this IAE week show. This video does qualify for my ship giveaways, the one that I'm going to be giving away during the IAE week of the Starlancer Max, plus whatever I will be giving away next year at the ILW. In addition, we're going to be, so I'll need to have a secret word. The secret word for this video will be what you believe is on the second of those empty Drake pads. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Danny Raymond with Ray's Guide.